Good day, everybody. This is Remote Pilots Australia, and I'm Ari. And thanks for everyone who's joined us on the stream. I saw a few of you in chat. I've been rushing, so I haven't seen. Okay, we've got.
Good day, everybody. This is Remote
Whoops!
Pilots
I better shut myself up.
And thanks for everyone who's joined us on the stream. I saw a few of you in chat. I've been rushing.
There we go. That works. I bet you all wish you could shut me up that easily. If any of you agree, boot. Okay. And just shutting off my email program. Okay. And I will get a link in chat because, unfortunately, guys, once again, for a second week running, I can't get Google to accept my mobile IP on the 4G. So no email for me. Hello, Brad and Gary, Hugh, Mason, and that seems to be the lot. I'm going to stick a link in the chat for anyone who'd like to join. I don't know what I'm going to do about getting the email to work for me on the 4G. I can't add a new IP address to the approved list every single time I stream. And as it's an agile IP, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, I'm just going to check my stream. Oh, that's a pretty good video by my standards. I'll live with that. Okay, and for those of you who are not aware, of course, I've been battling with the flu for the last week or so. I'm a little better. The voice is holding up so far tonight. It drove me off Claude's live stream last night as it slowly disappeared away. So we'll see how we go tonight. And to that end, okay. Hello, Brad. Okay, Brad, I can hear the YouTube, I think, in the background.
Hello, Brad. Can you really?
I don't know. I'm hearing it echoing back from somewhere. I'm assuming it might be you. Might not be either.
No, it can't be me because I've got my headphones in.
Hello there. I recognise that face from your videos.
Yes, she's in most of them.
It's not that I have to do that every time I sign in for a live stream, Mason. It's just that normally I run on a fixed IP, and the way that they work is they'll allow a connection from anything within one subnet of where you last connected. But if you're outside of that, it flags it as being a different computer and wants you to approve it. And the problem is they send you that request for approval by email. And when I change over to the 4G network, I'm in a totally different subnet. And so I can't actually log in through my own email to approve it. I'll think about that. I'm sure there's a way around it. If I was younger, I'd probably have thought of it already. So, Brad, what's new in your life?
Not a lot. Just on rendering some couple of videos. So I thought I'd pop on for a minute and say hello to you, waiting for the better half to turn up at the airport.
Oh, okay, she's been away. Hello, Hugh. How are you?
Hey, Hugh.
Good, Harry. How you doing, buddy?
Better than I have been, mate. Better than I have been.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're getting a little better.
Well, I was never in danger or anything like that, but just miserable. You know how it goes.
I do. I sure do.
So, sorry, Brad, I missed that. Where has your other half been away to?
She's been down in Melbourne.
Well, that'd be a bit of a culture shock after the weather they've been having there the last few days.
Yeah, well, she sort of underpacked for it, so it's been cold.
Look, in Melbourne, it's very hard to pack enough clothes. The last time I went there, the first day I was there, it was 43 degrees. The next day it was 21 degrees. The next day it was 41 degrees. The following day was 18, and that's Celsius for all of you people listening. So it's a hell of a place to be dressed for.
Yeah, there we go. Haven't been down there for a while lately.
And let me guess, you're just as happy it stays that way?
Well, the family's down there, so at the moment, yes.
Oh, I thought you were a native Queenslander, i.e. the southeast corner.
No. I'm Melbourne born and bred up until about 5 years ago, and then we moved up there for Sue's.
Okay. And your preferences?
Doesn't worry me anymore. I mean, it's third state now, so it doesn't worry me anymore.
I understand that. And you've been busy, boy. I've noticed that you've put a 2 or 3 up in the last week.
Yeah, they had the a few games up there, a couple of weeks back. So we went out and did a bit of the, went to a few of the sports and bits and pieces. So I thought I'd put a few videos out for it.
It's good. I've been laying in bed unashamedly because we got a new bed this week, and so I enjoyed that. But I was laying there with the iPad and watching all the videos. Well, I had to catch up on about 100 by the time I got to it, but watching them all on that. So, and what is new in Hugh's life?
Not too much, guys. Pretty quiet last week. Although I'll tell you what, the lilacs are blooming, which is kind of nice. Check that out.
Oh, hang on, talk.
Lilacs.
Okay.
So spring is officially sprung here in Canada.
Spring has sprung. I'm presenting that to everybody.
All that mysterious
making it.
snow. Oh,
Don't worry, it's all good.
Come on.
But the lilacs are better looking than you are, Hugh. Although I do understand that some of your friends call you Petal.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is. Hang on, I'll highlight this. We're going to get the best of both worlds, are we? I'm just not quick enough. I'm not quick enough, am I? All right, there we go.
You're no gunslinger there, Mr. Laver.
No, well, actually I am, but I'm not good with the old trackball tonight, that's for sure. I used to, when I was an instructor, firearms instructor, I used to compete as well. I was nationally ranked, and two of the events I used to compete in were 10-pin and falling plate, which are a discipline where you draw from the holster, and they stand behind you with a little machine, and they hold it up behind your ear, and they press the button, and, and then it detects the gunshot, so it times you from the beat to your first shot, and every shot thereafter until you finish, at which time you're supposed to have cleared the table of either 10 pins or falling plates. And the quickest ever recorded draw and fire I ever did and hit the target was 2/5 of a second.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Which that's nothing like a world record. There's a fellow in the US, I can't think of his name, but he can put 2 shots out and hit the target both times in half of that time. But considering I was primarily a real life shootist and not a show pony, that wasn't bad.
Was that at Belmont, Ari?
No, mate, I used to instruct at Canungra.
There's a Belmont near
Madden Range.
What's it called?
Madden Range at Belmont. I used
just on Cleveland Road there.
I used to compete up there at the 1,000 meter range for heavy bench rest, and I ended my career there in glory. I had a disagreement with the range officer presiding at the time, and I shot the range flag off the flagpole, and it was situated at the rear of the range, and I just shoved it off the pole and packed up my stuff and left on a moral high note. Mind you, I wasn't allowed there again. Oh, that's it. Show off your cup again.
Is that the equivalent of the flyby on Top Gun?
Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
Is that the equivalent of the flyby on Top Gun?
Well, it was the equivalent of r.p.a.s. Yep. You're going to see me do that a few times tonight, so I don't cough in your ear. Look, I'm a range officer, a safety officer, and an instructor, but I'm nowhere near as ignorant as that SOB was. And Matt North's in the house from Peter Carroll. Greetings, guys. The link is in the chat up above you, but I'll whack it in to make it easy. Once again, this week I can't get my emails to function when I'm connecting through 4G. So I'll just whack it in the chat there.
Peter's probably sitting in front of the fireplace down there.
Again, Brad?
Peter's probably sitting in front of the fireplace down there.
Well, it's going to be 3 degrees Celsius here tonight, and that's a big culture shock for me.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 in Logan City and 6 in Brisbane.
3 degrees. That sounds like a nice temperature.
probably
Yeah,
8 or 9
let
at
me
one
see if
point.
I can phrase this in an elegant
For
manner.
polar bears and Canadians.
Up yours. Yeah, that about sums it up.
I remember I was whining about minus 33 this winter, something like that.
I'm not sure where home is for Peter. I think it's Victoria. I know they've had a really big cold front through there over the last couple of days. Extremely cold and snow on all of the highlands in Victoria and New South Wales.
Wow.
We do actually get snow in Australia. I've just never seen it.
Peter,
I didn't know
it's in
that.
the very far northern suburbs.
Huh. Okay.
Oh,
Well, that's interesting.
And as you can see, this is my winter clothes.
yeah. Yes. Well, what is it getting down there tonight? Hang on. I'll ask Mr. Google. Hey, Google, what's the temperature in Darwin?
In Darwin right now, it's 26.
It's cold.
It reminds me of that line from the song. It's cold. It's 25 degrees. Yeah.
Another couple of degrees cold, I'll be putting on a t-shirt.
Let's see. 10 degrees. 10 degrees. That's hot here. I'm sweating.
Yeah, rub it in. What time is it there, Hugh? It's fairly early in the morning by your standards, isn't it?
Yeah, 6:30ish.
I don't normally expect to get too many people from the US at this time of night. And Mason and Matt, Matt's still at work. Mason, if you want to drop in again, feel free. Also, you, Peter. Once I get up to 5 or so, I consider I'm full, but I've got a couple of slots there. Oh dear. So I have been out of the loop for about 5 days, more or less, and I've seen
Which has been a problem. It's been a serious problem because you know what? Yesterday there was no entertainment on Claude's show, so you know what had to happen? I had to sing a friggin' song to keep everybody happy.
That's favoritism. You sang one on Claude. What about here?
Well, I'll have to reprise it for you one of these days. I promise.
Okay, I believe that Paul Murray got a little too entertaining on one of the live streams in the last week as well. I think he took his shirt off. I was saying something.
No way. Seriously?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I did actually drop in for a little while with Claude last night, and by the time I'd been there about an hour, my voice had disappeared, so I cut it short. You probably came in after that.
I wasn't on last night. He did an 8-hour marathon earlier in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Well, Claude's going ahead hand over fist. I see that he's been working on his OBS skills, and he's got a nice.
Brother Nay has.
Well,
He's had that little spelling error as well.
Sorry, Brad?
He had that little spelling error as well I saw last night with his stream.
I hated to break it to him, but as an editor, I had to say it. I had to tell him. So
he had Arial font.
Yeah.
You don't like Arial font?
Well, not when it says Arial photographer.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. Oh, no. It's he's got his animated logo and his lead in, and the obligatory news.
Looking really good, actually.
News desk. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
To be honest, I'm starting to question exactly how enthusiastic I am about this YouTube arc.
Oh, yeah. It's grinding you down, is it, buddy?
The time differential between myself and the US and a lot of the guys is straining for a long term. I can do it for a month or so, but even before I got ill, and really I've got to ask myself why I did, considering I had the 4-strain flu vaccine about a month ago. Even before that, I was starting to get a little tired. Yeah, and between editing videos, going out and flying to get footage for videos, live streaming, working on OBS and so forth, I've actually had to scale back my commercial flying to accommodate YouTube. Now, YouTube's a lot more fun, but it's not really practical, is it?
Yeah. Well, you just got to make sure you stream when it's, right for you. Like, make the time best for you.
Streaming's all right here.
People will come.
I'm only doing it twice a week. I have no No ambition to be a 7-day-a-week streamer or anything like that. I do one on the Monday my time, which is Sunday evening your time for guys in North America, and I do this one, which is more aimed for the UK and Australia, and that's fine. But I don't need to tell you this. The time that it takes, I've worked out that to make a video, to post one up, including going out and capturing the footage, doing the editing, adding the soundtrack, basically from woe to go, and posting it up onto YouTube, it works out about 2 hours per minute of footage.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
So
I'd be at 4 hours per minute.
you would, yeah, but you do that fancy stuff like color grading. Yeah,
yeah, color grading.
Brad's taking his shit to the next level.
Yeah, I don't even factor into my drive to get to these places.
Oh yeah,
it's an onion, isn't it? Really, the more every time you master one level, there's another one waiting right underneath it.
Yeah.
Here's my advice: do it until it's not fun, and when it's not fun, don't do it.
I hear you, and I've always lived by that rule, and that's the question I'm asking myself: do I really want to push this to the point where it's not fun?
Yeah,
because I'd like to keep dabbling in it, but I guess what I've decided, I haven't decided I'm going to give it away, because I'm certainly not. But I have decided I'm not going to try and compete. I'm not going to try and be a Canadian drone hub or a r.p.a.s studio, or even for that matter, spend as much time as Claude does.
I made that same decision a while ago. My health is not good. I've got all kinds of issues, and I don't have the energy to put into it. So I do what I can, and I have fun. You know, that's all I can do.
I do a lot in the drone community. I'm not just visiting YouTube. I don't post quite as much as I used to, but I'm active on a number of forums. That's where I met Brad. And before long, and I don't post as much publicly, but I still get quite a few questions regarding law, legality, and this, that, and DJI products. And I want to try and keep I don't want to turn my back on any one area of it, because look, there are some utter pains in the arse in every community, but there are some really great guys as well.
Yep, true enough.
Now, I want to know what Matt North is still doing at work at, approaching 9 p.m.
He's an artist, man. There's no such thing as scheduled hours for artists. Come on.
I'm actually not sure what Matt does for a living, but I'm sure he'll tell me.
I thought he was a musician.
Well, I think he was a musician. I think he does something else now. I don't know. I'm in the process of...
Oh, okay. I thought he was still playing regularly.
No, I don't think so. He might be. He may still be doing it on the side. All I know is he plays more than I do on stage. I haven't done that lark in about 15 years. It's that was another thing I did until it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah. I've started and stopped an awful lot of hobbies in my time. But that's to me, that's life. That's, going and trying every damn thing you can until you're dead, That's what it's all about for me.
Try and convince your wife of that, though.
Yeah, that's a tricky part, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. They got no sense of humor, these wives. You should do what Brad does and just ship her off interstate for a while.
Yeah, but
just hide the credit card bill.
You paid
did you ship your...
You paid for it, did you, Brad?
No, her work pays for it, but I pay for it as in trying to keep this place running.
There you go.
Maybe you could justify it as a worthwhile expense in enjoyment. No, I didn't say that. I'm glad your wife's not home. I'd be in trouble. She'd be saying, "You're not going to talk to that man anymore. He encouraged you to spend money on a drone, and now he's saying bad things."
Let me try and see if I can see where she is.
Oh, you're looking at Flight Tracker.
Catherine.
Okay, so she'd be what, about half an hour out, if that?
Yeah, about that.
How long does it take you to get to the airport?
Well, you saw from the thing we're only about 5K from the airport here, so 10 minutes.
Yep. Not like going to the airport here where it's it's about 40 minutes drive, but then it's a 20-minute flight to find a park and get to the terminal.
Yeah, and then if you get caught up in that funny road system they got there, up here, no, it's totally different. I can pretty much leave as she's about coming in on the approach and meet her at the front door.
That's good value. I haven't ever stayed in Darwin for more than a couple of days. I've been through a number of times from my teens through to my early 20s, but never stayed in Darwin. Spent time in Kakadu. I came up there for the hunt out of the buffaloes when they were getting ready to establish Kakadu National Park. I've been there in Catherine, Adelaide River, Mount Isa, Clonkeart, Curry, Camberwell, all that sort of area, but just not so much Darwin.
Yeah, it is nice here. I'll give it that, but it's dying.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, the amount of you go through the Queen Street Mall in Brisbane, and it's bustling, and there's shops everywhere. Here, there's about 4 people, and every second shop shut.
Yeah, it's a hard position because people don't want to live there or can't afford to live there, whichever it is. But really, the nation can't afford to shut down Darwin.
Why is that? What's Darwin critical for? Is it a port or something?
Yeah, Darwin's a major port. It's also a hub for various industries and defence and so forth in that area. We couldn't just turn it away, turn around and abandon it. It's also the capital of the Northern Territory, so they're probably fairly attached to it.
Okay.
Peter's never been to Darwin. Peter, you haven't really missed much, and Brad's there.
No. Yeah, exactly. Just watch my videos.
Hey, good morning, everybody in chat. I'm on my phone, so I can't see.
Okay.
It is nice up here. I'll give it that, but it's definitely different, and it's definitely I don't know what it is. Like even shopping centers, there's shops shutting down in shopping centers. I don't get it.
Matt reckons that the Chinese own that port, so we might as well leave.
Yeah, they probably do.
I know they own the big one in the northwest of Western Australia that Clive Palmer was trying to convince was a stepping stone for invasion of Australia. Huh.
Yeah, he's good at that, isn't
They're
he?
buying up a lot of stuff on coastal Canada too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that they may have. I know that technically we don't discuss. Well, the community doesn't like to discuss politics. I don't really have anything against it, but let's call this global affairs rather than politics. I think that the Chinese have stretched themselves. They've thrown a bit of a wide loop, as they say in the US. They've essentially tried to stake a claim of the entire South China Sea, and they're shooting at Filipino and Vietnamese vessels in their own waters, and they've spent about $40 billion in Tonga and Fiji, just off our east coast, and they're trying to exert their influence in our waters. And for many, many years, every time any of the Western nations do anything the Chinese don't like, they claim that we're offending their honour or their dignity, and they get all uppity. But it seems to be quite okay when they do it to others. And it seems from the recent reactions of the US and Australia and the UK to a lesser degree, the West are a bit annoyed about it. They do it to others. And it seems from the recent reactions of the US and Australia and the UK to a lesser degree, the West are a bit annoyed about it. Mason, you need to mute your YouTube. The US and Australia and the UK to a lesser degree, the West are a bit annoyed about it. Mason, you need to mute your YouTube. Okay. Yeah, you just need to mute your YouTube tab and you'll be fine, Mason. Just put a word in when you've got it all sorted out. It should be you can hear us. Yeah, so I have a feeling that the Chinese might not do so well over the next decade as they've done over the last.
Well, I hope that's the case. I have nothing personal against the Chinese. I just don't like to see one power dominate, a particular region of the world so much.
Well, my attitude has sort of changed to polar opposites over the last 10 years as far as China goes. 10 years ago, and this is going to, for anyone from the US listening, listen to me all the way through before you get upset. We've been very closely tied to the US since the Second World War, the last 70 odd years or more. And for some of that time, the US has been a pretty good ally, but over the last 20 years, not so much so. They look to us to give them some legitimacy. Every time they're in an armed conflict, we're always the first ones to sign on and give it an air of respectability. We don't contribute a whole lot in the way of troop numbers. We send all we've got, but it's not a lot. But on the other turn, when we turn around and ask for a bit of a mate's rates on military equipment, we don't get it. Or, we get ships out of your mothball fleet that are rusted out, or the Congress votes to deny us the F-22 and sells us F-35s that run billions of dollars over budget and aren't any good. And about 10 years ago, when we were looking at buying the F-35, China offered to sell us their version of the latest Sukhoi at about a 5-to-1 price parity. And not only that, they offered to set up our own factory here in Australia and let us build them under license, thereby reigniting our domestic production of aircraft for the first time in about 40 years. And I was telling everybody who would listen that I thought that as far as Australia's interests were going, that we would be better off tying ourselves more closely to the Chinese because they are in our region. But, of course, since then, their current chairman has done away with their allegedly democratic process and gone back to being chairman for life, and they've started to take the hard line. So I no longer think the same way. Matt, take it easy, mate. Yeah, so that was that. That was my good idea for the decade.
Yeah, I'm not. I've worked in all those regions in Asia and got to know these. They're different people, interesting, but we're very different culturally, and I think it makes it hard for us to get along. They have, especially China. I mean, it's not even a communist. What the hell is it? A hybrid experiment now? Very strange.
Not a problem. I think what you were doing wrong, Mason, was you just had you still had the YouTube audio running once you opened up Hangouts. You either need to pause the video running in the YouTube window or just mute by clicking the little speaker symbol under the video. And that stops the feedback issue. But no worry, mate. You just take your time. You know that you're welcome in at any time you want to come in. And don't stress. Because I know what it's like. You're on live and you're going, oh my God. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, so, sorry, Hugh, you got as far as it's not the fact that they're communist, and I missed everything after that.
Oh, I was just saying, it seems to be a very strange government because it's not really a communist state anymore per se. It's some kind of a hybrid, do what we want monstrosity,
Yeah, that's a fair comment, but I don't think there's any state in the world anymore that sticks strictly to the model.
That's a good point.
Australia is certainly Australia, and I think also the US and Britain are not a democracy, not a traditional democracy. They're a two-party oligarchy.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I agree.
What are
I agree with that.
I don't know how it is in Canada. I haven't studied your political makeup
It's
at all.
exactly the same thing, my friend. Money rules, just like it does everywhere.
Somebody put it the other week, or actually I've heard it a long time ago, but in communism, man exploits man, but in capitalism, it's the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. Say goodbye to the old boss. Well, welcome to the new boss. Same as the old boss.
Yeah,
same shit, different day.
Yeah, that's right. It's us people on this end of the economic spectrum, mum and dad average, mum and Brad average, who suffer.
But I'll tell you what I am glad to see is that Huawei is starting to get their toes clipped by the U.S. and by other people because, and I've told you this before, I have direct knowledge of Huawei and their dodgy practices, back in the day when I worked in telecom R&D. And they wholesale stole switch designs from Canada.
Yep.
So, I know what these guys are capable of, and I know, obviously they want to win just like everybody else does. But they're willing to do anything.
I think there's more to it than just the desire to win. They certainly want to win financially, but yeah, of course, it's a popular thing in the West to point finger at every Chinese multinational and accuse them of espionage on behalf of the Chinese regime. But I think in Huawei's case, that's probably more justified than in some of the others. You know,
Absolutely.
the founder of Huawei was / still is, I think,
Yep.
a general in the People's Liberation Army.
Exactly.
So, that's a very close tie.
Oh, and his daughter is the CFO.
Yeah.
Let's keep that circle close, right?
Well, Australia terminated their involvement in our telecommunications network as far as backbone about 4 or 5 years ago. We were one of the first.
Good. Smart.
And Britain has, and now Mr. Trump, one of the few of his decisions I can understand has come down that way. Although I'd have to say he's made the decision for the wrong reasons, for the tit for tat reasons, but it was a smart decision to make.
True enough. And what scares me is he may reverse it if they do have some trade concessions or something like that, which would then be terrible. But we'll see, I guess.
I've talked enough. Talk to it, Brad.
I'm just listening. It's all good. I'm trying to catch up on the news out of all this. I don't get to see it often.
Yeah. Well, I get my news every morning. I wake up and I tell Google Home good morning, and it takes my phone off silent mode, and it tells me what my appointments are for the day, and then it reads me about 6 news outlets for the day, and that's it. That's what I get to know.
Yeah, I've done that a few times with mine. It's very cool how it does that.
It is. I have programmed it to do my own custom. It reads me 2 Brisbane newses, a state news, a national news, and an international news. So I get the good roundup. I installed smart lighting yesterday.
Smart lighting?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I haven't done it in this room yet, but I'm working my way through. I'll get it.
I think I might do that when I move back, is look at doing some lighting changes.
Well, I was going to install smart fittings, but I'm renting this house, although it's long term. I've been here 27 years. I don't fancy fitting a lot of infrastructure that I can't take with me, so I've defaulted to the use smart light fixtures, smart light bulbs.
We've got the Nest smoke detectors. Have you seen them?
Yep.
Yeah, we've got them at our place. They're quite cool, and we just installed a Wi-Fi air conditioning system.
That's all right. Nest is being depreciated. Google's doing away with it this year, and I don't know exactly. They're sort of subsuming it into their home lineup in some way. I haven't actually. I know about it, but I haven't bothered reading my way through it yet.
Yeah, it doesn't worry me for another 12 months until we get back home. Then I'll look it up then.
Yeah. I've only put the Google Home units in fairly recently in the last couple of months, actually through watching some of the other guys on here with their Alexa. And initially I was going to go with Alexa, but of course I did my research, and here in Australia, Google's probably the best show in town for our needs.
Yeah, for the moment. I don't think there's too much Alexa going around unless you're on the block.
I'm still too paranoid to put any of that stuff in, man.
I used to be. And I'm not going to claim to have beaten it, Hugh. It's more to the point that I have accepted reality. Last week.
Reject it.
Yeah, that's it. And insert a reality of your own.
Exactly. Mythbusters, baby.
Yeah. Last week, they found a file on a public server somewhere containing the login details and the credit card details of 50 million Instagram users. And it didn't come from a hack or a security breach. All of that information had been scraped through various servers that it had passed through.
Yeah.
And I should have really admitted this. I knew it sort of at some subconscious level, but I should have admitted to myself a long time ago, which is simply this, that when you make the conscious decision to have an online presence, you are effectively saying by default, I give up any rights to privacy. It doesn't matter what you do, run through.
Still fighting it.
You can run through proxies or do whatever you do. Do you really believe that when you tick the box on your Android device that says "Do not track me, do not record my location," that it actually doesn't?
I don't know.
I don't. I do
don't know
know.
anymore.
They are out to own you from cradle to grave. And my attitude was, could I live without the net altogether? Probably I can, but the kids can't.
I couldn't. See, I love the internet. I really do.
And so therefore, if I am by de facto giving away my privacy and my personal details, then I might as well have the benefits that are entailed with that of having
Fair
home
enough.
automation.
Yeah.
I'm losing it anyway, so stop. It's sort of like peeing in your pants, isn't it? When you think that you're
Just
hiding
let it happen, right? Just let it happen.
Yeah, look, you're thinking that you hide your identity. It's like peeing in your pants. It gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling, but doesn't really accomplish much else.
Can you feel it, Brad? You imagining this? Can you feel this warmth?
Yeah. That's the way it is, though. That doesn't matter what you do anymore. Your information's out there regardless of what you do now.
Agreed.
I mean, look at how many phone calls did you cop the other week from the election? I had a call from Scott Morrison and all sorts of stuff.
Not seriously. I didn't get one, but it did surprise me. I've been on the do not call register all of my devices for years. And I renew it every year, but normally I still get phone calls. I didn't get any this time. It did surprise me.
I was on the register. I copped one from somebody on the Thursday night saying, what topics do you find that you'd like to talk about at the election? I said, well, it's a bit late. It's the Thursday before the election. Why couldn't you have called me 3 years ago? Then hung up.
Bastards.
It's like, and then I think I copped a couple of text messages on the Friday night and the Saturday, and I think I got a call from Scott Morrison on the Wednesday night, I think it was, and I was like, nah.
He's dropping names now. He gets phone calls from the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Mind you, they were pretty desperate. They thought they were going out.
Yeah, that's what it was. But I mean, that's the thing is how did they get my information? Well, someone sold it to them.
Exactly. Yes.
And I haven't.
Exactly.
I haven't updated other than my electoral enrollment, which obviously I had to do. I haven't updated too many details to say that I'm up here, other than my driver's license and my electoral. Someone along the lines out of those couple of companies that have sold my information somewhere.
Your driver's license
on Facebook?
No, not on Facebook.
Oh,
and if it was, I'd still be like my wife is, but she's still, as far as it's concerned, she's still in Brisbane.
It's like CASA, when they brought in this new regime, because I've consulted on a few CASA consultations. I've gone into the head office here in Brisbane a couple of times, and they sent me out an email asking for my input on the latest regime. And of course, they're trying to tell us that they need to levy these registration fees, etc., because it needs to be a user-pay system. And my attitude was, and I went in. I told them I went into for a consultation after that. I told them face to face. I said, who do you think you're fooling? You're telling me that you want another $1,200 a year registration fees out of me as a commercial operator so that you can establish a database of who I am and where I am. Well, how did you know where to send me an email to ask for my opinion? Because I'm already on a bloody database, which, my training provider submitted all my details when you gave me my license.
Yeah. Hey, and by the way, can you tell them next time you're talking to them to let me fly my flagpoles up here?
Oh, they're getting a bit ropey over that, are they?
You can't fly a flag?
It's within what did we work it out? About less than 2 kilometers from the airport. All I want to do is fly to the top of a flagpole and film this flag. I can't even get off the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I don't live in an area like that, thank God. My God, I've got a 70-foot mast on the middle of my roof for amateur radio antennas, so I wouldn't want to. It's fairly quiet tonight, which may not be a bad thing as far as people in the chat and so forth. It's just us suckers.
Actually, it's a stimulating conversation.
Yep.
Well, we've got 7 watching, so there's 4 others besides us.
Hi, 7 watching. I can't see you, so I'm not ignoring you. I'm on my phone.
He's ignoring you. He's one of those types,
Yeah, bugger off.
So now I must have a really clear upload tonight compared to what you're used to, Hugh. You actually know what I look like in all my glory now.
Yeah, it is very clear. I'm on a small screen, so it's hard to see. But yeah, it is perfectly clear.
Yeah, I'm using the 4G.
Good. Oh, instead of your landline.
Yeah, I've given up on the landline. I've tweaked everything that can be tweaked and changed every setting that can be set, and
Wow.
I've just come to accept that I haven't got enough upload to do a decent link. Gary is
I can see
watching.
the individual links on your chain. It's that good.
Yeah, that was my chain. So now mine.
I get my name on one of those boxes behind you.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I own them, thank God.
What the boxes.
No, yeah, and what was in them? That's one of the few things. You'll go down right. And you know, he was joking about this chain around my neck. I could pay for that fleet behind me if I bought that. But I think Mum might come back and haunt me. Oh, I don't know. Well, Gary, don't watch quietly. Make some noise.
Oh yeah, Gary Foster. Get your ass on here, Gary. Don't be a loser. Come on.
He doesn't want to associate with us Commonwealth types. He doesn't like slumming.
Gary's Canadian.
Oh, in that case, get on here.
Bastard. He's Commonwealth.
We'll let the boogie Americans get you.
Actually, Gary's only a few hours from me. Well, when I say a few, I guess 7. But
Well, yeah, that's a Canada. People forget outside. You know, people who aren't in North America forget how big
Yeah.
Canada is.
oh yeah. Well, when I was working in the UK, I decided to go up to Scotland for the weekend, just for the weekend, driving. And all my office workers thought I was absolutely mad. I didn't think anything of it. I hopped in the car, drove to Glasgow, had my weekend, and drove back down to London. No big deal.
How far
We're
is
used to
that?
that in Canada, probably like you guys are in Australia, right? You drive long distances, big
Yeah.
country.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Zero TV, welcome to the house. Good Abend. Wie geht es dir?
I did one road trip recently. I think I did like 800k in one day.
Nice.
Yeah,
Just to go to-
my
Wow.
uncle passed away a couple of years ago, but he was diagnosed as terminally ill. My godfather, my uncle as well.
Yeah, Peter.
And I did 10 trips to Canberra from Brisbane, which is about 1,200 kilometres, and I drove it through 9 out of the 10 times. I drove it in one go, both there and back.
Wow.
I did Melbourne, Canberra.
Ja, ich bin very good, danke. Yeah. You Melbourne in one go from Brisbane.
No, Melbourne, Canberra.
Oh, Melbourne, Canberra. Yeah, Brisbane, Canberra is a different story.
Yeah, that's. I've done Brisbane, Glen Innes a couple of times.
Yeah, look, I didn't mind. I found that, mind you, I was a bit younger then, but I found the drive to Canberra was fairly doable because, as you've gathered from my streaming hours, I don't sleep a lot. Lack of wealth. Yeah, that's true, Gary. Yeah, the Commonwealth has a lack of wealth. That's our problem. We're all getting a 2-bob tour of Hugh's place.
I'm going to go sit outside.
I'm trying to muster up enough German to tell Zero FPB that I've given him a wrench, but as I haven't spoken it it's been about 35 years since the last German-speaking member of my family passed away, so I'm afraid it's rather rusty. You show-off bastard.
Who's a show-off bastard?
You are going out there and sitting down. Let's see you do that in the middle of winter.
I did. As a matter of fact, I did a live stream while it was snowing in my backyard. I made a fire and burnt papers. Did that this winter. Challenge accepted and completed. Tick.
Yeah. I don't know.
Thanks.
Behind it gets me by. I understand a lot more of it than I can speak anymore. My family left Germany in the 1920s. So the last native German speakers passed away about 35 years ago. When I was young, they were always rattling around in German. So you know what it's like when you've got relations who speak a foreign language to the one that you were born with. Yeah, exactly. You understand it far better than you speak it. Yes, I used to terrorize my mother because she avoided anything that way. So I would terrorize her with Germanic overtones. Oh, well.
Well, it is a nice morning.
Look, I'm looking over your shoulder. To be fair, our weather is gorgeous here at the moment. We've got skies like that, absolutely blue and clear, which is why it's so damn cold tonight. It's always colder when you've got a beautiful sky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's it. Show off the guns, Brad.
It's getting cold. I got to go put a t-shirt on.
My guns
Sorry,
are sagging these
maybe,
days.
yeah, you're like me. A decade ago, you probably could have put on a decent show.
They're slightly wilted.
Well, yeah, they stopped my gym habit when I did this injury. I haven't been allowed to go to the gym since.
I guess you have some limitations about what you can lift now, though, right? Yeah.
Well, your idiomatic writing of English is great. I wouldn't pick that you weren't a native speaker, English speaker, writer, whatever you want to say. But yes, I know what you're saying. If you don't use it all the time, it's not easy. I can't remember your name, sir, and I probably should. If you'd like to join us on the panel, if you think your English is up to it, because my German certainly isn't, but you're most welcome to. Oh dear. Yeah, look, I'm bouncing around from subject to subject. I'm getting sidetracked now.
I've got to get going and run to the airport now.
I was about to say you'd have to go. All right, buddy. You take care. Thanks for dropping in, mate.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Okay, mate. Take care.
See you. Bye, chat.
Cheers,
Take
mate.
care, Brad.
He's off to pick up the good-looking one of the partnership. Look at you walking around there in the garden.
Yeah, better than sitting inside the house.
Are you using an Android-based phone or an iOS?
It's an iPhone.
iPhone.
It's an old one too. It's IO 6S or something. Yeah.
Oh, there's a national holiday in Germany at the moment. Fair enough. Well, when you have to go, you have to go. But thank you for dropping in and joining us. I'd like to think that I will get back to Germany at some point. Well, get to Germany for the first time for me in my lifetime, and visit all the places that the family used to live. We had a few different areas. We had family in Black Forest and some just over the border in Austria. There we go.
My wife's people are originally from Germany. Half from Germany, half from Scotland.
My grandmother used to live next door to John Banner, who played Schultz in Hogan's Heroes.
She was what?
My grandmother's brother or sister, I think it was, lived next door to John Banner, who played Schultz in Hogan's Heroes. He was Austrian.
Yeah, that's cool.
They used to go to the same synagogue.
Very cool. Love that show.
I used to enjoy it greatly, and although it's many years since it was finished, but I've got every episode here stored away on one of my file servers, and along with Gilligan's Island and Munsters and every one of the series from that period of time. And as the kids got older, I brought them up on a steady diet of those old 60s and early 70s TV series.
Yeah, I've got most of my favorite shows on hard drive as well. I have a NAS, a network area storage system that I use, which is kind of neat.
I have 2 redundant systems, each one with a mini server. And each one of those systems has 12 terabytes of storage on, and they're a mirror of each other. Well,
do you know?
Yeah.
I was just going to say my NAS has been running almost continuously for 9 years, and it's still going. I'm waiting for it to break one of these days.
Yeah, those hard drives must be getting a bit tired. Do you have a backup of everything that's on them?
Nope.
Oops.
No, I don't. The backup will be re-downloading everything.
Oops.
Yeah,
Not
pretty
a good
much. That would be a lot of work, but yeah, the problem is they're just so bloody expensive. The units, and then of course I've got to buy big hard drives to put in, and
Yep.
and then I have to copy and replace them. It's not worth it. I'll just repirate anything I need.
Get refire it.
Exactly.
Not supposed to say that.
Eh. Come on,
Yes,
Asgard Studios. I'm the Viking. We pirate.
Jim Hawkins.
Come on, shield walls up,
Someone's
boys.
put sand in the captain's Vaseline, or looks like
Ooh.
you're in for a rough passage, lad. Oh, dear.
I'm surprised Claude's not on this early. He's usually up around 6.
He's not working today. It's Thursday night my time, so it'll be Thursday morning your time. So he should be up and about.
He said he'd be on in 40 minutes.
Oh, how long ago was that?
8 a.m. What's that?
When did he say that?
Last night.
All right.
He made a
Cool.
little video announcing that he was going to be on today, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
That
that's
sort of
right.
thing. Yeah.
He's really getting in on this YouTubing business.
He is. He really enjoys it. I think he's a kind of guy that he spends a lot of time alone. He's got a couple of days of, a week where he's working, but otherwise his wife's gone. Kind of like myself. It's quiet in the house, right? Got nobody here,
Yeah.
so.
Look, it's what can I say? Yeah, I think that all three of us are getting to that point where we're getting on towards the retirement age, even if we're not retired. Some of us are, some of us aren't, and we've got a little bit more time to follow our own chase our own rainbows.
Oh yeah.
And good evening to Cam.
I see rainbows.
Yeah, that's it. So we've gone from Guten Abend to Konnichiwa.
I think I can count to 10 in Japanese, but that's about it. It's a
My
layover
daughter,
for my martial arts training.
I had a fellow who wanted me to go to Japan to study martial arts. I've got a second dan in Ryotakoi karate, but mind you, that's a few years ago since I've done any active martial arts.
Yeah, same here.
He wanted me to go, and I could have gone. The opportunity was there, the money was there. I had the grading required to get entry to one of the traditional schools, but I had met my wife about 3 years before that. You know what it's like getting a marriage off the ground and getting on with life. I couldn't take the time out to go. I would have loved to.
Yeah. That was my dream as a boy, was to go to Japan. I mean, I studied karate since I was about probably 13 or 14 years old, and continued all the way up until I was almost 40 with karate, jiu-jitsu, and as well as Western swordsmanship. But it's been a few years for me as well. I've been inactive since my surgeries and stuff. So
I did karate, sword, and staff. But then, I went off and did unarmed combat, military, and so forth like that. Look, I started off just as like most young kids. Like you, I started at about 13, 14. And the style I did, my father was a superintendent of prisons at that time. And I went along and attended the school for prison officers, people on the flying squad, the riot squad, whatever you want to call it. So the style I learned was not a traditional competition grade or traditional grade karate. It incorporated elements that you wouldn't find, that would be considered unpalatable in mainstream martial arts, because it was taught for people who needed to handle themselves in a bad environment.
I'm gonna have to switch devices because my iPhone's at 20%. Yeah, I actually studied pressure point fighting that they used in prisons to disable inmates, like to disable their arms, disable their legs.
380.
Like
There's around 380, Hugh, and I know them all, and the kids hate it.
I know 2 or 3, and that usually does the trick.
Okay. Hello, Claude. Your ears must have been burning, mate. Hugh and I were just talking about you. There's a link in the chat if you'd like to drop in.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yep, not a worry. Oh, he's dropped out. He's been for a walk in the garden, so he took us all down the garden path. So, Camro, now I do know you, sir. I've seen some of your broadcasts and so forth. But as you've probably gathered, I've got a terrible memory for names. Okay, I'm just checking that I haven't missed anybody. Nope, I pretty much caught everybody. It's been a fairly quiet night. Brad's gone off. I haven't heard from Peter in a little while. Ah, he went. Sorry, I missed him. Damn it. I hate it when I miss somebody in chat. Japan, look, I would have liked to have gone. I had employment lined up as a conversational English tutor, which apparently was, hey, Justin, how are you, my friend? It's early in the morning for you. I saw your latest video, the sunset video. That was utterly gorgeous. The desert vista and the peak. I forget the name of it. You had it off to the side in your no, Hugh's back. That was really gorgeous. You better watch yourself, mate. People might think that you're a camera drone operator. So you're back with us, Hugh.
Yeah, it occurred to me I could just get my battery charger pack and just attach it to the phone.
Yes, yeah, I've got a few of them laying around, some
Bloody
smaller
handy.
ones, some larger ones. There's my toy one. This is the one that I whack in if I need just a little boost. It's about
Oh, that's a
2.5
teeny tiny one.
Yeah, I've got a 20 amp one. That's a 2 amp one. And but this is my one of my. I have a number of these cables. They do USB-C, Lightning, and micro USB, so I can charge any of my devices or controllers with that.
Excellent.
Oh, you're going back out there in the summertime.
Oh yeah, I've been cooped up all bloody winter, man. When it snows here, I mean, you're just totally cabin fevered.
Oh, you're still trying to push that snow business. You really want me to believe that?
Telling you, it's not just fairy dust, my friend.
Hugh's name is not on my ticker. Oh, couldn't have missed that.
Sweet Jesus, you bastard!
You got a
For the love of God, Ari! For the love of God!
yeah, I'll fix that. There's a link in there in the chat, Claude. I popped it in when you came in before and said hello, but you must have missed me. Just hang on. I'm going to go and fix that omission on my ticker. Oh, up comes the OBS stream. I've got to love that OBS. At least that's what they keep telling me.
I heart OBS. You're gonna get a T-shirt that says "I heart OBS," right?
Yeah.
Or
I'm not saying a word. I know nothing. I see nothing.
Nothing at all. There we go. Can I get that to just stand by itself? There. There. Now I can just chill out here. That's better.
Oh, wrong one. Ah, that's the one I want.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Never on a first date.
Fair enough. But let me ask you a second question then.
Okay.
Do you have devices in Australia that snip the grass, like close to buildings? What do you call them there?
What are you talking about? They snip the grass? You mean a whippersnipper? You call them a trimmer. We call them whippersnippers.
We call them whippersnippers too. The Americans call them weed whackers or something else.
That's it. Yep, weed whacker.
Okay, you call them whippersnippers too. Cool.
Yep, we do.
Weed whackers here.
Good morning,
no one
Grumpy.
listens to America. Hello, Claude. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, we call them weed whackers here.
Right on.
Okay. Now watch what appears at the end of the ticker, the text ticker now. I was going to put that bloody Canadian, but it was nice.
How come you don't put Claude's a great guy? Because he lost 4 subscribers in the last couple of days.
Did you? But
Yeah.
the question is, did they all subscribe, or did a couple of them just fall off the end or get stolen by the YouTube gods?
I think in YouTube struck. I think
Yeah.
usually it does that. You know, you get people and your count goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So,
So I'll tell you something about my Facebook experiment and sub count. So I've stopped using Facebook now. Anyway, lots of reasons, but anyway, I stopped using Facebook. So yesterday when I posted my new review video, of course I couldn't post to Facebook, and I've got about half the views I normally do. So
There you
I'm
go.
going to lose a significant amount of traffic by cutting Facebook off. I don't know. It's a pain in the ass.
yeah. Well, if you'd have kept it going, I could use your credit card and social security numbers and all that stuff and got more stuff. But now
What was I thinking? What was I thinking, Claude?
Yeah, you screwed me.
Justin's having 2 bob each way. He calls them weed eaters.
Okay.
Red Eye says whippersnippers usually have cord. Brush cutters have a straight shaft with little death blades on the end, and they eat small fruit. Don't forget ankles as well. They eat ankles.
Oh, yeah.
It's 20. Okay, it's 8:30 for Camro. It's 9:34 here. And Mark Centroid is with us. There is a link
Good
in
morning,
there.
Mark.
To use it in the chat. Good day, Mark.
And if anybody in chat says hi to me, I'm sorry. I'm on my phone outside. I can't see the chat at all. So good morning to all of you.
Bite me, Hugh. That's all I'm going to
Claude.
say.
Hey, Claude. How you doing, Claude?
Oh, hi there.
What's
Ooh.
I'm unable. Most of you will probably receive an email after I go offline with the link to this chat. I thought I'd be smart, and before I came online, I opened up my email client and I copied and pasted everybody's email in there and put the link in, and then made a comment about, for those of you who've got time to join, here's the link. The problem is now that I'm using my 4G to stream for the live streams, Mr. Google has a hernia every time and thinks that somebody is trying to hack my Google account and shuts
that's
down my email.
unfortunate.
Yeah, because I'm on a
That's
different
unfortunate.
machine.
Yeah.
So I'm unable to send the link out by email. It's in the chat there for anyone who wants to drop in.
So, Ari, how much bandwidth do you have for your 4G, like per month? What's your limit?
Between my 2 accounts, my private and my work one, I have about 80 gigabytes a month that I can burn.
Okay.
Drone Effects with Claude's put a video up. Yeah, I've got about 80 gigabytes, and I used it for the last stream on Monday morning, Sunday evening, your time, and I burned about 7.13 gigabytes, but I was running for 3 hours and 37, I think it was, or 27. When I did the math, I was burning 30.3 megabytes per minute.
Okay. Wow.
I'm not limited. So
Are you using a fixed line or a 4G, Claude?
I don't know. I use AT&T Uverse.
Yeah, that's for your fixed line. You're getting either DSL or some sort of fiber. I'm actually using my phone to stream this through the 4G network.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's the only way I can get enough. As I was saying the other night with Nay, and I'm sorry to get a bit shirty with Nay last night. I'm normally more diplomatic than that when I'm not ill. But, like everybody else, I've got my own qualifications. I've got my own area of expertise. And
Ari, I'm sure he understands because, you could tell your voice is getting better, but you could tell you still weren't up to snuff yet. So,
mate, I thought about pulling it tonight. I thought about not broadcasting tonight. My voice is slowly starting to go now. But I made the call about a half hour before the show that I would do it. Because, you advertise on Facebook, as he was talking about Facebook exposure, and people out there are expecting it. And Mark has upgraded his computer. And compared to what it was, it seems to be on steroids.
Mark's probably got the most powerful computer of anybody that we know.
Actually, Ari, I didn't know you were on, and I was already on my live stream. I shut it down to come over and hang out with you because I was on my live stream and talking to you. So I said, I'll just turn mine off for now. So
I thought you were going to start at 8 a.m. though this morning.
I am. I still may switch over at 8. So
That's
and
not a
start
problem
off.
because, as I said, I'm not feeling particularly brilliant. So 8 a.m. is about 23 minutes off for you, isn't it?
Yeah, we're about 20, about 22 minutes away. So
That's not a problem. Well, I'll probably just shut it down around that time and the slot can come and raid.
right.
Well,
Yeah. So anyway, Nay is sending me a webcam. It should be here today. He
okay.
sent it. He says they're talking webcams and that, and he says I need your address, and he says, well, it should be there tomorrow. So he ordered me a new webcam and is sending it to me too. So
Well, that's good.
Nate is actually a pretty good guy. You get
He
to
is a
know
very
him.
nice guy.
And so yeah, and obviously I'm sure he understands that you're up to snuff, and he knows when people don't feel good. That sometimes we all get snarky. If we're not feeling
For sure.
100%.
Well,
And
you know,
you've been really sick, so
you know that old saying though, Claude, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. I would not presume to give him or even Dennis any instruction or hints on how to do video or graphics manipulation. I can't do it. I'm pants. But I started doing my first electronics trade when I was 14 years of age, and I had my first qualification well before I was 20. And I went on in the trades after that. As I said last night, I've been a director of the Wireless Institute of Australia. There is literally nothing I can learn about digital communications, be it point to point or intra-system or whatever. And normally, when I'm feeling better, I just grit my teeth and smile and say, "Oh, yeah, you could be right." But last night, it sort of got under my nose, up my nose a bit, and
well,
I guess
I
what I
was
was saying is I do have half a clue on that scale when it comes to how a USB hub works and how much bandwidth can go through a single USB 3 port. You don't need to be a trade expert like that.
right. And what I know about digital communication, we know how many. It's 14,000 some miles from my house to yours now. We know that.
Yeah.
So there's big
Short
sharks
walk.
in the ocean around your country. So if a
Yep.
shark bites a cable, does the digital communication go through the shark, or does it just shut off? Now that's a question.
Or does the shark get free internet for a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, we have fibre optic sharks in Australia, so it doesn't affect the bandwidth whatsoever.
With laser beams coming out of their eyes.
Well,
Oh,
after they
that's why they call them great whites, right? This great white cable system.
yeah. It's actually quite a laugh because over to your part of the world we have the South Pacific cable, which goes through Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, and it's only in the last 5 years that the separate one out through Japan has become linked in with us. So before that, if the South Pacific cable went down, we lost most of our connectivity to the US.
Wow.
Oh, that's bad, Justin. Shark NATO, as in NATO. Oh, that's bad.
Those Sharknadoes are so bad, they've made like 6 of them now, if you can believe it. They just keep coming.
I don't know how the first one got made, let alone the subsequent 5.
People are watching them. That's the thing, right?
Because
Otherwise, they wouldn't keep making them.
yeah, because they're idiots. They'll think that them are cool. And I saw it on TV one day. It was an older one, and I looked at that and I just said, "What the hell?" And I just turned the channel. I said, "You wasted my time."
Look, the people like what they like, and as
I know. There's like, what do they call them? There's groups of
Bread and
people.
circuses, my friend. Bread and circuses.
yes,
There's groups of people out there that think they got to have events around these things, and I'm thinking, why?
What can I say to that other than et tu, Hugh?
Et tu, Brute?
Yeah, I'm pathetically well read, disgustingly well read, unfortunately. I wish going back to the bandwidth business, I wish I had a better link here. I may be putting off moving because I've got to buy another car in the next few weeks. I'm already looking. Won't be a brand new one. I'm trying to find a low mileage second-hand vehicle since my Mitsubishi is going to cost me somewhere between $4,000 and $6,500 to rebuild the gearbox, and I am not paying between $4,500 and $6,500 to rebuild the gearbox of a 15-year-old car, no matter No, regardless of how good it is and
Here's
how
my
much
drone
money.
chariot.
Yep.
An old one I picked up last year, but I got a cute little $15 sign for it. Anyway, sorry, just a little interlude.
You should sell them as merch, mate.
No.
Yeah, it's like my Jeep. I just spent $1,727 on it. And I told the guy when he gave me the estimate, I said, "There's no way I'm gonna fix it." But then I got thinking, I don't want to buy another vehicle right now. I got enough cars floating around here, so I got it fixed, and I ended up buying me a Beamer. So
Oh, nice.
And
yeah, I
you
got
what?
a 2018 BMW 740i.
Wow. That's a hell of a car. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I bought that. That's gonna be my.
Can we call you Daddy Warbucks?
Yeah. Okay.
He drives up to his twin-engine plane in his 740i with his sunglasses on and a
Well, actually,
25-year-old blonde in the passenger seat.
he's getting
I ain't found me one of them.
Actually, he's getting a new plane, Hugh. One big enough that he can drive into the plane up the ramp in his
There you
BMW.
go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Probably going to get a civilianized C-130 or something. Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so I picked it up a week and a half ago. So
Nice. Well, that's cool. Now, did you get that from Enterprise?
How'd you know?
Wow, I'm kind of figuring you might have got a discount, right?
Oh yeah, it wasn't. When you look at the cost of the vehicle, you're thinking, "Oh my goodness,
That's a very expensive car."
Oh yeah, I got a picture of it right here actually. Come on, stop
Robert,
it.
Red
Yeah,
Eye, he's buying a new house.
Right there it is.
Sexy, man.
Got the Beamer.
Even you'd look good driving that, Claude.
It's got brown heated and cooled seats in it. It's got everything.
There I was showing off my Nissan Versa.
Right there's another shot of it right there.
Very nice.
Well, you got it. If you got it, you got to spend it because I ain't gonna leave it for the kids. I know that.
I've just dropped a wrench on you, Red Eye. Sorry, mate. I didn't realize before that you didn't have one.
I was on Sean Ives' live stream last night. I go over there and hang out with him, because he comes to mine and stuff. And there's this one troll guy kept saying in the chat, "I just did a good poop today." And he kept putting that up there. I timed him out. I deleted his message for Sean saw it. And finally, I didn't realize the only one that can block him is the guy who's hosting the show. So he had to go there. He had to go there and block him. I was trying to figure out how to block the guy. I timed him out, and he kept coming back. And finally, I messaged Sean. I said, "You need to block him because I can't do it." So, yeah, but he kept coming up saying that stupid message. I just had a good poop today, and I'm going, "What the hell,
Sean's a good bloke. I've spoken to him once. I think it was on your stream, or it might be Rogers. But anyway, he's a good guy.
Yeah, me and Nacho. That's how Nacho he started following me is through Sean Ives because he's been over there. He's been with Sean, following Sean forever. And
I like him. I like Dennis too. Look, what can I say about Dennis? He's a little volatile, but so am I.
Yeah, well, he's a little insecure too. He keeps bringing up. I know he says, "Well, your graphics are great," but he says, mine must not have been as good. And I keep telling him, I said, "Dennis, I said, I'm using your graphics, just made them come to life. But it's still your graphics. And on my Facebook pages, I use Dennis's graphics, And he says, "Well, you didn't like mine and all that, and all this other stuff." He did my header on my Facebook.
Which Dennis is this?
Nacho Rolling.
Nacho. And he's just so insecure. He acts like he's really insecure about it, And I keep telling him, I give them both credit, Nate for bringing them to life and him for designing them. So, but
Well, either of them is better. Although my banners were done by my foster son, and he's the lad who slipped a few dollars on Emma's first GoFundMe. Came in the room. He he's at high school still, but he's fairly artistic. And my current YouTube banner, which was updated about 2 weeks ago, he did that for me, and it's minimal, but I like it. It's what I wanted. And initially, he had exactly the same problem that Dennis had, which was he could get it because the resolution that they quote for a YouTube banner of 2556 by 1440, that only displays correctly on a television. And the actual area that will display on any device, on all devices, is much less. It's about 1400 by 836 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. And my stepson, foster son, couldn't get it right. So what I did in the end was I found the same template that Nay was trying to send to Dennis. I found it elsewhere. It's a stock template. I think YouTube themselves make it, but you turn it into a transparency and you just put it on the page before you build your header, and it shows you in an instant glance what elements will appear on a desktop computer, what elements will appear on a phone, what elements will appear on a tablet, what elements will appear on a TV. So you can make sure that all the important things appear on everything and less on the other devices. And once I gave him that template, he got it working in about 3 minutes flat.
Right. Anyway, Ari, you got to read Mark's comment. He says, funny, people have been complaining that the comment like a good poop should not be blocked. Freedom of speech and all. I don't quite understand that, LOL. Then he says to me, please don't block me now that I typed that in the comment. And
well, are you surprised that they have the attitude that a good poop should not be blocked? I mean, they've left theirs in the White House.
Oh, well, a good poop shouldn't be blocked.
But the thing is, the guy kept doing it. He kept doing it. The same thing over and over, you know?
Yeah, look, they're an idiot. It's either a kid or just a troll. And
yeah, so we ended up blocking him anyway. So, you know, Mark, we won't block you because probably a lot of us had a good poop sometime at some point.
What do you mean you won't block him? Speak for yourself.
Okay, block him then, Ari.
The problem with Mark is if we block him, he'll just come in on another account. He'll troll us on his hidden accounts.
He's like the super troll. He's a super troll. I think he has like 3 accounts he can go on: his wife's, his school, and this one, obviously.
He really had me one day.
You do not want to know how many Gmail accounts I have from my gaming days. I have all sorts of ones, including one of my favorites when I want to troll somebody. I'll let it out of the bag here. Is if you get the bot lord arrive in any of your streams, that's me. I used to use that because I used to run a lot of bots to control servers and so forth. So I had an account, the bot lord at Gmail.
I had a with that bot thing come up on my stream. I didn't know what it was. Somebody did it.
No, that was probably an automated bot. A lot of guys use.
Oh, you're talking about Nightbot.
Yeah, they use them to automate their text or their donations or anything like that.
Okay, well, I had something come up on mine like that, and I said I didn't do that. I didn't know you could have them. So
okay, well, I take Mark and Justin didn't join us. That's fine. As I said, guys, I'm going to cut it in, pack it in 9 minutes at the end of the stream. Mark's been in before. Justin, I do this time slot each week, and also Sunday nights your time, about an hour after Val finishes. So feel free to drop in. I'm probably going to stream off the 4G link whenever I'm hosting a stream from now on, just for the improved video, so that you all see me in all my radiant glory. I wonder how many of them are throwing up just now. But
that is a big difference in quality. I'm actually shocked how different.
Yeah, we can actually see the wrinkles on your forehead, Ari.
There's plenty of them, mate. There's plenty of them. They're all.
Just pull that top of the head up like this. That way, it makes you look younger.
But it's bad for me. It's bad.
Why, does your nose come off and it gets up between your eyes?
I don't know. Is it coming off? Yeah. No,
there you go. Now you look younger.
Yeah, it's I have no shame at all for the amount of wrinkles or grey hairs I have. I have earned every single one of them.
Well, you know, as you get older, you don't care. I mean, you know, what you look like, I don't care anymore. I am what I am, so.
Yeah, exactly. And I really, as you get older, you guys know this, you look less and less on physical appearance. You take people as they are.
Oh my God, you see Mark's comment? You have
Yep.
no idea how many accounts I have. Mwah.
That just goes both ways, Mark. For every one that I admit to, I have another 50 I don't.
I think we need to time him out. He's starting to troll us.
No, it's all right, mate. I'll just mount a DDoS attack on him and wipe it off the internet.
Watch out, he might come over to Australia and cut your cable.
Understood, Mark. Yeah, it's a bit hard at work. They might start looking at you a bit odd. It's Friday morning for you, isn't it? Last day of the week. You don't want them catching their lecturer doing something frivolous like YouTubing.
Well, what Mark got to do is he does calculus, so relate it to YouTube, and he can have YouTube run as he's doing his class, and he can tell how calculus relates to YouTube.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
That way he could stream and talk to everybody, and plus teach his class.
I'm sure that he could come up with some sort of formula or equation to work out, you know, the minutes of streaming equals how many subscribers and how many watch hours, taking into account various standards and averages.
There you go. There's a class. There's a lesson for you, Mark. That way you can be on YouTube during school hours.
It's a pretty flimsy premise, really, but no more flimsy than a lot of my mathematics teachers used to use. Can you imagine if Paul Murray was a calculus teacher? You know, the amount of brownies would become a valid variable.
Oh, the amount of brownies compared to hugs from his therapy hug doll he's got, times the number of drones he has, because he just bought an Evo. Let's see here, because he did an unboxing an Evo on my show one day. It showed up at his front door. So
I tell you something. This is an indication that I've been spending too much time with North American YouTubers. Yesterday, Spud, she had a little bit of a cooking binge. You know, took over. It took her fancy, and she decided she was cooking yesterday, and she made a big tray of brownies. And she came in with one on a plate for me. She said, "Here, Papa, I've made brownies," and they were damn good too. And as I took the first bite, the very first thing that came to my mind was, "Gee, Paul Murray would like one of these." I've been spending too much time on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Go on, flash the merch.
we know, Mark. We're just playing with you. To make it for its worth, he doesn't make it a habit of trolling bad manners.
Oh,
he just
speaking of merch, I got one of iSpike's t-shirts coming.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got Rodney Bell on today.
Nice.
Rodney's a great guy. I haven't caught up with him for a week or two. I tell you who's another great guy is Rick Halber. He sent me an email the other day because I hadn't been online for a couple of days. And, you know, essentially to the effect, I haven't seen you. I've heard that you're not so great. I hope you're all right. And are you going to be okay?
Guy, yeah.
He is a great guy. And considering his mother's health and everything else, it's not as if he hasn't got enough things to be worrying about himself.
Okay, Mark said, actually, I did an exponential
regression to predict 4,000 watch hours. Yeah.
For that, I stopped streaming. Oh, hell, I always want to troll in the mornings.
Why is
hello, Night Train. If you noticed yesterday, I caught your video when you were flying in the park. And for some reason, I finally got notification that you were posting because freaking YouTube doesn't always give notifications on everybody that I follow. So it just happened to come up. So I went over there and caught your video. I didn't see your premiere, though. I apologize for that one.
Mike's one of these guys. He's got the foot in both camps of camera drones and in FPV. But now, having said that, Justin Hadley, he's also in the same boat. He's got himself an Autel Evo, and I've caught a couple of his videos in the last week that he's made. And you'd think that he'd been a camera drone operator all his life. Some really nice stuff. I suppose after flying FPV, flying a camera drone is not exactly rocket science, is it? It gives you plenty of time to concentrate on the camera. Mike, I'm going to be shutting down in the next 3 to 5 minutes, and everyone's going to go over to. You tried the Premiere. I was listening on Val's stream when you were talking. You asked everybody whether they thought that you should do Premiere or a normal one. You couldn't fix the chat thing. You weren't sure. Yeah, I wondered how it went because I've never tried the Premiere setup either. So that'll be interesting to go. But yeah, I'm gonna shut it down here in the next couple of minutes, and I'm gonna go and lay down for a little while. Throat's getting a bit that way, and so if you all want to migrate yourself over to Claude, I'm sure he'll be happy with the company. But yeah, I said
I'm glad we caught you.
I said I was 202 hours of viewing, and after that little stream the other night, I hit 240. So
Wow,
it just
well done.
When you're streaming, well, it's not like I did anything clever. I just put on a stream. Everybody else came and watched it, which gave me the hours. They're the clever ones.
Yeah.
So it is amazing. I suppose it's very simple, isn't it? I hadn't really thought about it, but if you do a 3-hour broadcast and 4 people watch it all the way through, you've just got 12 hours of watch time, haven't you?
Yeah, when I make a 3-minute video, it takes a lot of watchers to get that watch time up.
Well,
exactly.
USQ, we did an 8-hour plus yesterday because when it was off air and I shut down the Hangouts afterwards, all that also went on Hangouts, which I didn't realize. And here I was looking at other people's videos and stuff. I'm saying, hope I didn't get a copyright strike. So, but yeah, I was checking. The stream went down. We just kept talking. So.
I worry about that copyright strike business, and what worries me about it is not so much that it happens. That's fine, but it's how variable the results are. What I mean by that is I see guys putting up videos with music as the background music that is blatantly copyright music, mainstream music by music artists that's under copyright, and they never ever get a strike. And
there's a reason for that, Ari. They get a warning, and then they get the option to allow their video to be monetized by a third party.
Really?
That's what happens, yeah. So the person that owns the copyright to the song ends up profiting from that person's video.
Well, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
The only time I had that problem was with the fellow who changed the status of his music after I put it up. That annoyed me.
It's ridiculous.
That annoyed me a bit. But yeah, and then we've got the one that really sticks out in my mind, I've commented on before, was on Drone Hub. Roger he had Pusa on Andrew from Pusa Studios.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, hey, I want you to have a look at this. And he played about 30 seconds of somebody else's YouTube video in a window. And Roger got a pop-up warning, saying that we've detected that you're playing copyright material. And if you do it again... And really, that just utterly shocked me how quickly.
Yeah, I was on that show, I think.
See, Mike just said, okay, non-monetized. Yeah, that's what happened to me with that video, the music that I used. I was allowed to keep it up, but I wasn't allowed to monetize it, which that didn't bother me because I'm not monetizing my stuff at this point in time. And as I was saying you weren't here, Claude. I said to you before, I've been watching everybody push on with YouTube and you as well. It's eating a lot of my time. I'm not going to give it away, but I'm just not going to try. I'm not going to try and compete. So I'll be doing my couple of streams a week, but I'm not going to be trying to push on and become a mega channel or another Drone Hub or anything like that.
No, all I'm trying to do is get to the 1,000 mark, or get over it because of your YouTube deal, and get to my 1,000, get my view hours. So I did apply. The monetization stuff. Anybody can apply for it now, and it's there. But all I figured it's going to do is going to buy me a propeller here or there if I destroy a prop or something. I ain't buying the Casey Neistat where I'm going to go out and buy, fancy equipment. I don't need that. I don't need YouTube money to buy what I want, what I like, obviously. So, and it's just going to buy. I'm going to use it just to put it back into the hobby, basically, whatever I can get. So.
Well, I was on a bit of a hiatus when I got into the YouTube community, which is going on 3 months ago now. But what I found is between the time I spend doing my own streams, which is fairly recent, going on other people's streams and creating videos and going out and capturing footage for that, I've actually had to roll back my return into commercial operations. I'm doing far less of it than I was. And then I've got other commitments as well, which I don't really go into here on the drone situation on various forums and so forth, where I comment or I provide feedback on the laws and so forth. I get a lot of emails. I get about 1,000 emails a day. I don't have to reply to all of them, but I get about 1,000 a day. I've got less time to dedicate to stuff that I really need. And I've got to get it off my butt and get another vehicle going. It's not going to be a new one. I'm not going to get a BMW 740 series. I'm probably going to buy a second-hand one. I'll probably spend about 10,000, just something that I can drive into the ground. I'm actually going to look at an 18-year-old Ford tomorrow, but it's got in US money, it's got 45,000 kilometers, so about 30,000 miles on it.
That's not bad with those cars, because the way they make them, I mean, the engines will if you do the maintenance on them, you can easily get to 250,000 miles on a car like that. So
yeah, it's the car it's a Falcon, which you had Falcons in the US.
Oh yeah.
It's a 2003, 2004 Falcon. They're out here. They're powered by a 4-liter 6-cylinder 12-valve overhead cam Bizzo, and a big lazy motor that never works hard. And this thing's done no kilometers. But as I said, the guy, he's 90 years old and he's had to give up driving, and he bought it for himself when he retired. And I was left with the option of spend 4,000 to 6,000 putting a new gearbox in the Mitsubishi, or buy this thing for $6,000 is what he's got on that. Yeah, I think I'd rather buy the Ford.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's $2,000 more, hell, you might as well just call it. You could sell the car even with the bad gearbox to somebody. They would take it for parts, then that would get you going. What
I may do. Look, it's law of diminishing returns. My father bought this Mitsubishi brand new. I think I know they do sell, or they did sell them in the US in the early 2000s. I think they may have been called Diamantes. They're a 3.5 liter V6.
Right.
I've done that one. The motor in my car has done only just over 100,000 kilometers, 60,000 miles, and I just spent 6,000, put 6,000 into it about 4 months ago. New suspension, new wheels, new tires, $2,500 worth of servicing on the engine, this, that, and the other. And then, of course, now the gearbox quits. I will probably make $3,000 to $4,000 parting the car out in parts, because it's immaculate, and I can put that towards what I've got to spend. And I'm just going to buy. I'm intending to buy a new car for the family/business by perhaps the end of next year. So I just want something that's going to get me through to that point.
Right.
And then I'll be able to drive over to Matt North's and get free coffee and go flying with him, which will be the first time since I've become a drone pilot that I've actually gone flying with somebody else.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Mark, I'm actually setting up my live right now. I just can't go any further because I'm still on Ari's channel. So,
all right, guys.
Mark said he can pop over if I go live. So,
all right, guys.
We're letting Ari do his thing first. When he's done, we'll go. So I'm not trying to berate him.
I just keep getting sidetracked. I am getting quite sore in the throat. I'm not quite as croaky as I was last night with you, but I'm far more croaky than when I started. And you know what it's like. If I push it too hard, I'm going to end up back in bed.
Yeah, just drink a lot of fluids, your Powerades and stuff like that too. So it'll help you. I'm
feeling a lot better. Look, Mike and Justin and Mark, if you're still there, and everybody else who's still in the chat. I know that there was more, but some of them are gone. And thanks for coming in, Hugh and Claude.
My pleasure. Good to see you, buddy.
I'll probably have tomorrow in bed recovering from the last 2 days, and sort of around Sunday or so, I'll start joining in other people's streams again. Take care and catch up with you later.
Night, buddy.
See you later, Ari. Be safe and get well.
Take care, everybody. Cheers.
Yep. Bye-bye.